Oh my gosh, I am so excited. I'm already giggling over here with joy for our guest. I'm ready to do this. Erika, where are you right now?
I am in San Jose, California, living the consultant
Mm.
life.
And you've made it to the show. So happy. We were having to figure out how you were going to negotiate being on the show, manage the airport, but you made
Oh
it.
my gosh,
Yes.
yeah. That is
Yes,
like true life, right? Guys, like,
it is.
do we take it from the airport? Do we hang out in a sky
Mhm,
lounge and, take our
mhm.
calls? I mean, I know if you're listening to this and you're in consulting, you know what I'm talking about. Or do I have time to make it to the hotel? We are here. We made it to the hotel. Two cyber chicks is going. All right.
I love it. And we have such a special guest for you guys today. Oh my God, we're so excited. We have the very own Cybersecurity Central here in the house tonight, Kimberly
Whoop, whoop.
McKnight. She's going to be on the show. She's going to break down and help us demystify cybersecurity. What we love about Kimberly is she's got a very unique background in cybersecurity. She does cybersecurity creation. She's a content creator. She's a marketer. Really, she's a marketing guru. She currently works in cybersecurity branding, graphic design, influence management, communication marketing, digital marketing space, and all of the things. So we're going to dive into all of that. And I know you're thrilled. I am so, so excited. So without further ado, let's get her on the stage. Welcome, Kimberly. We
Hey,
were,
I love that intro.
woo!
Yes.
Gets things
Let's
amped up.
go.
What are you wearing, Kimberly? What do you got on? Mine is clothes,
Yes,
obviously.
first I'd like to show my exclusive merch that I have here. It's a
Yes.
very private collection,
Yeah.
maybe out soon. We'll see what we can do, but yeah.
3 of 3 right now, Kimberly, of
Yeah.
shirts.
3 of
Yes, I
3.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
And 3 cyber checks over here, okay?
I love it. Cyber
Yeah.
merch is one of my favorite things, so I love it. I'm going to cherish it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you have such a unique background. We're gonna dive into it. Before we really kick it off, I know people are dying to understand how you got into this space and even more importantly, cybersecurity central. How did that become a thing?
Sure. Well, to start, the reason that I found myself in cybersecurity is I do actually have, so I have three younger brothers. One of those in the middle is actually in cybersecurity himself. So he started maybe 7, 8 years ago now, was in the Air Force and then did some schooling afterwards and kind of made his way through SOC and all of that and is now a senior consultant, does a little bit of DevOps and things now. But he was actually my inspiration, for cyber. I found out that he started doing that and was like, wow, that's really cool. At the time I was doing hospitality, love helping people, and it was a great field to work in, did a lot of different things there. So, really, again, Matthew was my inspiration for cybersecurity. And I thought about it. And when the pandemic hit, I was like, well, what a better time, to maybe consider this big move and this big step to do it during that time. So I really just kind of took that time to be able to really sink myself into the community. I used LinkedIn prior as a recruiter. So it was really something that I had not used for my own benefit, was really just using it to kind of find others for our company, find those ideal fits, and really just had to kind of relearn how to use that. And I found people that I found that were talking about cybersecurity, really just started off really simple, following those hashtags that people might do for training, cybersecurity, live events, and found that that was actually one of the great ways to be able to find who's who in cybersecurity and what are the companies to follow. I did have some insights for my brother, which was great, but it was nice to be able to find some new things and be able to bring those back to him and say, did you know about this, or did you know about that, or this person or that person? So it was really how I kind of dabbled in it and started to find people like you all. My people here in cybersecurity was through that endeavor, really just trying to connect, network with people, and find out more about the industry itself. So really from top to bottom, it wasn't just training, it was really a focus on people, which I love too. So that's how I found myself in cyber. And then as I was doing that, I found tons of resources and thought, well, let me kind of dig through this, see what's the stuff that I like. What are some of the things that people that I know and that I'm following are recommending and are saying are proven sources, things that are actually working for them and helping them be able to get their foot in the door. Being able to study and really feel that it was material that was worth studying, that had a benefit for them, and also engaging. I'll be honest, I came from another industry. I'm a very visual person. So just sitting and reading white papers and textbooks all day was, something that would be, I need a little bit of that break from that monotony. So I really took all those resources together and thought, wouldn't it be nice to make a website, for people to go to? And then really wanted to take it a step further, and be able to make a little bit more of a community out of it, bring people that I knew, that I met. So I have a team of 3 now, people that are great. Some of those are in cyber, some of them are not, but I'm trying to still break in. But they do blogs on Wednesdays for us. We call it Blog by CC. I have Alexis, who actually does our book blogs every month, which is awesome too. So yeah, just something that I started due to finding all of those resources, and thought it'd be a great way to kind of give back to the community that helped me so much too. So
Well, you're making such an impact, Kimberly. I can say that. And shout out to your brother, Matthew.
Thank
If you're
you.
listening to this, shout out to him, because
He's awesome. Yeah.
this is like a family thing at this point. You guys can talk shop together, keep each other.
Yeah.
Maybe have some fun family challenges, which is, so cool.
Yes, it is.
And then also Alexis, we had the pleasure of meeting her in Deadwood. So
yes,
she is awesome.
She's awesome, isn't she? Yeah.
Yes.
She's been in cyber for several years. Yeah, she is. She's awesome. She's starting to mentor and, really just finding her space as well, in cybersecurity, and really what she wants to do. So I think that leadership, mentorship side is something that's really inspiring her. So yeah, really excited to watch her and her journey too. Yeah.
Well, Kimberly, so you've held roles, from hospitality to sales to recruiting, program management. There's so much about these roles that I know helped prepare you to where you are today. Are there any transferable skills that stick out to you of yes, 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 these are things that I pulled out, and what would those be?
For sure. It took me a while, I think, to see those in myself, but hindsight now, over 2 years later, since I started that journey, it was some of the things my brother brought up originally. I think that was all encompassing, really just kind of an overview of being a little bit more of that people person side, having some of that HR and recruitment and sales and marketing, and, just some of those things where you have to engage with people regularly on a regular basis. And it's something that I just naturally have. It's something that my parents had, I think, and passed down on to me. I remember going to work with them, and my mother was a professional working with Nutrisystem at the time back in the day, and was a regional manager, and we'd go to her offices and go around, and I was really impressed. I'd like to go on the whiteboard and watch them, do their meetings. And so I think that was a big part of, me wanting to be able to help others and do that too. So yeah. Sorry, and I totally just lost where were we?
No, you're good. I was just taking forever to get off mute, so we'll cut that out.
Okay.
So I love that this is part of who you are naturally, but it also, I think, like you said, your family and your that was part of your makeup, being with your mother. And I have noticed that we've been friends, I feel like, for those 2 years. You and I connected.
For sure.
Yeah, quite a long time ago. I remember the first time we met, it was a Zoom call, and you were taking the call on your balcony, not balcony, but your patio
out back.
Yeah, out back. And we're just so fired up about this space, but you're so creative. You are absolutely naturally talented within this space. And
thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yeah, everybody go check out our page on LinkedIn. You will see it. If you go to your page on LinkedIn, or go to anything that you've created, your websites and stuff, you've learned that from scratch. You build websites from scratch now. So it's clear that you are truly a creative person. Plus you understand how to do marketing, because marketing is really it's a skill, all the way down to how you do your titling and your coloring. So from your perspective of being in this field for a couple of years now and working with different cybersecurity communities, what do you see within the industry? Because, a lot of us are putting content out, but maybe we're not doing the best job with it. What do you think that we could be doing in the cyber industry as far as the marketing perspective would go?
Well, as far as marketing, I can say that just from some of the groups and things that I've been involved with, some of the communities, there's some great cybersecurity marketing communities. There's actually a cybersecurity marketing, I don't want to say it wrong, it's foundation or organization. And they're amazing. They're also connected with Hacker Valley Studios, and they do, I have not been yet, but just to kind of put it out there, they're amazing. If you are interested in cybersecurity marketing at all, they're great ones to follow, and follow a lot of the creators. But I think one of the things I found out about cybersecurity marketers is that we were almost looked at as a bad word when you'd hear the words marketing or sales from a lot of the tech side, because there seems to have been a little bit of maybe a rift in between that of either sales and marketing stepping a little bit too far and trying to sell some false, truths there about maybe products and services and things that are in the industry. So that's something that I really try to watch carefully myself. And I know that, I think I've seen a trend where you don't see so much of this anymore. So maybe it's starting to permeate, within the marketing industry itself, within cyber. They're realizing that maybe taking a step back is a little bit more important than trying to oversell, what your product or service might be, even yourself, So I think really just being open, honest, and transparent are some of the things that you can do to just be able to showcase yourself in marketing. It's really important. People love to see like who we are. And that's one of the reasons why I love people so much. I like to understand their stories and where they came from and what made them make these decisions to, go into these different areas or arenas or leave them and try something new. And I think that's how we all learn ourselves. So just one of the biggest things I could say is just be honest, as honest as you can. We are still in the security industry. We don't want to reveal too much, depending on what we do and where we are. But I think that's probably one of the most important things, is to let yourself know that there are others out there who enjoy the same things you do and who like the same topics that you do. You don't have to cater to everybody. As a people pleaser myself, growing up and wanting to make everybody happy and try to help everybody, I've learned that can really burn your own candle a lot by trying to do that. And you're not always as honest as you could be with yourself and who you are. So that's something in my 40s now, I'm learning to adapt to more and take that both personally and professionally. I think it goes a long way. Just be honest with yourself and you're going to find that community and those others who appreciate you for who you are. So, don't try to be something necessarily that you're not through that marketing or through that branding you're doing.
I think that's great advice. And I think it's true for organizations, communities, and even like when we talk about the topic of like personal branding, right? Like I think that that's something that you do really well. Honestly, Jax also does that really well. Like I'm here with
Yes.
two like experts on personal branding. So honestly, like
Yeah.
I'd love to talk about that a little bit. Because when I look at your page, right, Jax brought it up. When I look at Cybersecurity Central posts, like there's very cohesive strategies in place. Like the branding is on point, the messaging is on point, like everything just seems so polished. And so for people that you know haven't started to kind of think about their personal brand, it's
Sure.
probably overwhelming. It's like, where do I get
Oh, very much
started?
so.
Right, because
Very
it
much so.
takes,
Yeah.
they're starting here, what they're seeing and where they want to get is here. So how do we make all these little incremental steps
Yeah.
to get there?
I love that.
What is your
Hmm.
advice? Let's talk
Yeah.
through that a little bit.
It is. I think that there's so much information on there, out there now about branding and how to be your personal brand and what's the best way to market yourself. So everybody has some gimmick or some insight on that, I should say. But Jax actually has some great. If you haven't seen hers, it's also on Outpost Grade. But she did a personal branding. Jax, was that for like one of the? I don't remember if it was Veterans Day. No, it wasn't Veterans. You did it for a
Yeah.
special, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did do it for a special. I think it's the LinkedIn one you're talking about, right? I
Okay.
can't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was the LinkedIn branding and it
Yeah.
was really great. It walks through step by step what you should do. And honestly, that's the same thing that I would say as well is you want to go through first, start small, look at things that, one of the things people look at for a brand, of course, colors like you're doing with, two cyber chicks, we have the pinks and the purples, and everything matches with what you're doing and it makes it look cohesive across the brands. So if you're somebody maybe just starting out on LinkedIn and you don't have the other platforms, just try to work with LinkedIn, and say, well, I have my background image, I have my image myself, what are the visual things people are going to see when they're looking at this that I can enhance and try to make into a brand for myself. So whether that's colors that are your favorite colors or, maybe going in and trying to see what you've seen before, maybe from companies or from other brands, you're like, I really like that. That's sharp. It's a really cool look. It's okay to borrow those things. You're not copying it exactly. You're taking pieces of it and making things into your own, which is what I do all the time. Canva is a great platform to be able to do this type of thing in. And they have things that are completely made for you. So if you're just one of those and you're like, hey, I do not have a creative bone in my body, I can't come up with these things on my own, you can go through there and just type in headshots, LinkedIn headshots. Or if you want to type in the background banners and just start looking through that, maybe say technologies. Cybersecurity is a little tough still in Canva, but you can pull that up and it will pull up some different types of things for you that you can then choose from those images and say, okay, what would be good for me to put here and kind of match together. That's something that I would say not necessarily easier to do, but as far as having to get all of your content and what you want your message to be can seem a little bit more overwhelming as well. So I say start with that, and you can have a nice, good visual, going down your page, and then work on building the content in there. Take it one step at a time. Don't think you're going to go through in one day and I'm going to get my LinkedIn profile ready to go, so I'll be ready this week. It's not going to happen. Mine has been a constant project for 2 years. Constantly changing. I'll play around with my picture, every now and then, which I've heard also is a good thing to do for your profile visibility, so not all the time, like you are on Facebook or maybe some of the other platforms, but it's a good thing to do, have some new headshots done every now and then and kind of freshen things up. And it helps other people, kind of have that attraction, wanting to kind of go and see what's going on, what's new with you. So those are just a few things to start, I'd say, but are really important, especially for LinkedIn, just because there's so many people out there, everybody's looking to connect and they want to see what makes you stand out from somebody else. So it's a good way to kind of show what you like on the imaging side. And then, like I said, build out that content as you start to figure those things out.
Yeah. And I want to add to something that you said that is so spot on. And I tell people all the time, like, you don't have to go reinvent the wheel if you're first time out there, because it can be really intimidating putting content out. Find somebody that's doing similar content. You're not copying and pasting it, especially if it's their, proprietary information that they're putting out or unique to themselves. But if they've got a style, maybe they're sharing resources. Cybersecurity, that's a perfect example.
Agreed.
Cybersecurity URLs, that's not like, you can share that. That's not, unique to them. But I will tell you what happened to me recently. There's a gentleman, I've never met him in person. I've never spoken to him. I mentor him through LinkedIn chat. He'll ask for advice. Sometimes I do resume reviews. I think I reviewed his, and he loved my Tuesday motivational posts, and he went and created his own. It looks almost identical to mine. And I looked at it. I wasn't even mad. And he was like, do you mind if I do this? It's similar. Like, literally, it looks just like my post, but the coloring is different, except for his photos at the bottom with the quote. Well, the quote isn't me. Who cares? Do I own that graphic? Do I own that some old dude that's probably dead quote? No. And it was very nice of him to reach out to me and ask that. And I was like, sure. And
Agreed.
He was like, I just like what you're doing and it makes me feel more confident. So, and I'm like, go do it. Like, good for you. Use all you want. Like, that's awesome. So, I mean, I would change it up a little bit more than
Agreed. Yeah. That's where I would say Canva's really good for that. You can change the colors, you can take some shapes out, add some other things in there, maybe use a different image, and again, that takes some time, but Canva has really grown a lot. Awesome. I mean, there's tons of stuff in there. It's not like you have to choose something that you see somebody else doing. They have tons of content. So it's really a good way to get your feet wet and kind of start that. But I totally agree. If you are seeing somebody that you really like what they're doing, give that creator some credit, share it, reshare it, put your own thoughts with it. I think is what LinkedIn says now, either repost or reshare with your thoughts. Tag that person in it and say, this is really awesome. Say why you like it. That's content people really appreciate too. So, and it's also a great way to kind of give that, that kudos to that person that you thought was doing such a great job, instead of just commenting on it and maybe keep on scrolling, and to share what they're doing and then let others discover, some of that good stuff that they have to share too, and get some ideas and insights from them as well. So I always say, remember to do that when you can. And if you really are explicitly like just really taking exactly what somebody has, I think doing what Jax says, reaching out, let them know, kind of get an okay on that, but always credit the creators too, because people are really trying hard to make their content. So
yeah, absolutely. And don't be upset if the creator doesn't want you to like copy them. Not everybody's as cool as like the people right here. I don't think anybody here would matter. We would care. We're like, cool, you're copying me. That's
go ahead. Right.
The highest level of praise. Awesome. Like,
exactly.
Go do it.
Doing something right.
My gosh. All right. Little bit of a pivot. So you have built this amazing community. You've been talking about community, and a lot of times people will get into like branding themselves and they'll start immediately thinking about followers, subscribers, and just this number,
Oh, yeah.
number. But
Yeah.
it's so much different versus having followers in a community. Can you share a little bit of why building a community when you start out is really critical as part of your journey within the space, cybersecurity, any
Oh
space,
yeah,
really?
yeah, for sure. I mean, I can just say the community part started, like I said, as I was really going on LinkedIn. I was trying to follow those hashtags and find those people who were really doing those things that I thought was amazing and cool. Maybe some of it wasn't even things that I necessarily wanted to do myself. I just thought was really cool and I wanted to learn more about. So I think that was a start to building my community, that I found my own personal community. But within that, I was building new communities or discovering new communities with them at the same time. So Simply Cyber was one of those communities. Josh Mason had a group at the time, Cyber Supply Drop, and I was volunteering for that. And that's how I met, Josh and Stefan Waldvogel, who you've had on as well. Just an amazing person. One of my very, very first, I call influencers in cybersecurity, and I followed any and everything he did. Like, I just trusted him fully. And that's another thing too. You kind of want to vet out the people that you are following and make sure that they're legit and that they have other connections that are kind of vetting for them too. But I think that's really important to do because we not only found ourselves in the pandemic, but just even a couple of years after that, it was still getting a little bit slow to build up. And, people were missing the relationships that we used to have with people in person or at our jobs. So I found it like critically important to be able to have this community. I discovered both of you, Gerald, who's also an amazing friend, so many other people that I've met, from Alexis to those that I'm working with at Cybersecurity Central, and just people that I see every morning in the live streams. And they really are my true support. And I'd say even more so than some of my actual real friends. I don't have huge groups that I hang out with. I only have, probably a few little handful of people that I've had throughout my life. But, I just, as you both know, I was supposed to go to Wild West Hackin' Fest recently and I had to cancel that. I was like, well, I'll just push it a day. I had an issue with my dog and it wound up being the severe, brain tumor, and we had to put him down. And it was just something that I was like, look, I just can't go. I'm going to have to just, miss this trip. And my brother went. And it was just amazing to be able to live through both of you, through my brother, through Gerald and the Simply Cyber community. I was watching the talks, virtually online. So I was at home absolutely by myself, had my other dog Louie with me, but I was actually smiling and like laughing the day after. And I thought that would never happen. And you both went and you looked for my brother. You sent me pictures and saying, hey, look who we found. And he was sending me pictures that he was taking with people of Nick Barker and Gerald. And, just, it was amazing to really be able to, like I said, experience that through the community that I made and was so lucky to become a part of. So they're real friendships, that you'll make. They're real connections. This is real stuff. You're not trying to get a number. You're not trying to beat anybody. You're not trying to make yourself look, like something other than you are, because the more that you do those types of things, the less genuine connections that you'll actually be making. So I think that's a huge part of it. And like I said, I've experienced all of this time throughout these 2 years, but just most recently, like it really was just, I told my mother and my husband, like, I really can't believe this. Like, this is really just, I would never have expected to have become so close friends and have developed such great relationships with people that I would have never thought of in the past. So just know that it's a lot more than just trying to find a way to secure your next job or, find out if that company is really legit or not. And, finding somebody who used to work for them. You want to make relationships as well. It does take time. It's not going to happen overnight, but volunteer and let people know what you can do for them, I think is really a big part of it. And then you'll find those relationships naturally start to come your way.
It's so beautiful to hear you say that. All of it is so beautiful. The grace that you're showing with everything that you've been through the past few weeks. I'll say that first. And then also about how you speak about the community, because this is a community that you have created for yourself. This is the fruits of your labor, of all of those like meaningful, vulnerable conversations where you put yourself out there, where you've dedicated time. You are one of the most selfless people in this community. When I
Stop.
hear
There's
your
so
name,
many.
no,
There-
I'm serious. Like, and I know Jax will back this up. Like, when your name comes up, it's like it's always with praise. Like, Kimberly helped me with this. Kimberly helped me with that. When you speak about volunteering, I know that some of the listeners may not know the extent of the volunteering that you've done. I mean, you are the first to go to in any of the communities, and there's sub communities in cybersecurity, of course, but like all of the communities can come to you and say, hey, I need a second eyes on marketing. Or like, I mean, even when Jax and I were like, hey, we got to get we want to get some merch ideas going. You're the first person we even think of, right? And it's not even, you're so
That's so
selfless that you
sweet.
don't even, I mean, you don't even think about it. You're like, yes, absolutely. Like no second thought about it. No questions asked. And so, I mean, just goes to say, it's like what you put in is going to be what you receive. And like your people will be there for you and show up for you. And it's so true what
So
you say
much.
in terms
Yeah.
of like, you know, it's more of that quality over the quantity. Like, who cares
Any
if you get
day.
200 likes on a post if those
Right.
200 likes are bots or people that you're never going to actually talk
Exactly.
to?
Right.
I'd
Right. And
rather
people
it,
that you're not engaging with, right? And
yeah.
getting to know.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Totally. I mean,
Agreed.
you see it on like the daily threat cyber briefings in the morning, you know, everyone's good morning. Like this is a true community, right? Like, and you see that in different people's live streams. And it's, you know, it's one of the reasons that I think we're all just so excited about our work and we're passionate about giving back to the community because it is the community that we've created.
It
So
is. It
um
is.
oh man,
For
all
sure.
the feels, all the feels.
Thank
But
you. Thank you.
I
Thank you.
love it.
Seriously, it is.
you're
It
a
is
huge
everything.
part of it.
I think people hear it so much that it can even be a little bit like, oh, community, here we go again. Somebody's talking about the
Yeah.
community. But
Oh, they're
I
drinking the
think that they're
Kool-Aid.
right. I think that they're just missing, some small pieces that could really make it where they're like, wow, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I think it's maybe just letting go a little bit more, showing a little bit
Yeah.
more of that authenticity, like Jack says, and it will really put you out there to be able to receive back. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Being open. So Kimberly, thank you so much for all of this. I mean, I could go on, I know Jax could for like another hour catching up and we have so many nuggets to share. So maybe on the next one, but for the
Yes.
meantime, for those that want to follow you, your journey, your content, what are the best places to find you?
Of course. So, really, the main place to find me, I do have some accounts on the other platforms, but I am not that active on them. I'll be honest. The branding's there, but that's probably about it. So, LinkedIn is the main place you can find me. So, I am at LinkedIn/in, and then it's Kimberly Can Fix It. And then also on LinkedIn, you could also visit Cybersecurity Central, which I would highly encourage you to do. We do have a website on there, but if you go to Cybersecurity Central on LinkedIn too, you'll be able to automatically see the employees there, which they're volunteers, but we have to list them as that. You'll find Alexis on there, James, Sean. They're really doing a great job. So I would just really want to throw that in there to connect with them too and kind of check out what they're doing. So that's the main place you can find me. And then cybersecuritycentral.org is really just the resources, the blog, the information that we have to share with our community too. So would love to have you visit there as well.
Perfect. We'll make sure to add that in the show notes if you're viewing or listening to this, so you don't have to remember all of that. But Kimberly, thank you so much.
Awesome.
Loved having you
Thank
on the show.
you. This has been
Loved
great.
having you.
Really appreciate it. Thank you both. Always
Oh,
love it. And
anytime.
looking forward to seeing you again soon.
Absolutely. Oh, Jax. Oh, such a good episode.
Yeah,
Always,
amazing.
always so much fun.
Yeah, you had me going on the community, but I know we are starting to get to
I know.
time, but I
We're
was
getting
like,
time.
oof, yeah,
So we gotta wrap.
such a great human.
So
Oh,
thanks for tuning in, guys. If you liked this episode, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. Let us know if you've got any requests for guests that you want to see on the show or topics that you want to hear more about. But we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.